Oh, I got. That's right. It is me, Smoking Jeremy B. We are live all over the place today. And how's everybody doing today? Bistrilla, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Still live on the other side. Give me just a second.
Yes, sir.
At least I'm not playing it on YouTube. We won't hear an echo. All right. Got that ended now. And now it says we're live on the other one. There we go. King SJ out of Canada says hi, JB and Bistrilla. Good to see you, brother.
What's up, King SJ?
Let's get these all starred real quick and we'll get into it. Isaiah Bond. Last night, he got a call pranking him saying he was signed to the Cowboys despite his sexual allegations, which is why he's not even a UDFA anywhere. And I made the joke on the Dallas Stars news that thing. I said, is he on suicide watch? Because I would if I was signed to the Cowboys. And this morning, of course, Brian Schottenmeier said, well, we would never sign somebody with like that.
Sure.
I was like, no, you just had them on your
What's up,
team
Brent?
already when they did it. Good to see you, Brent. But I thought that was pretty hilarious, the whole thing.
As you see, the NFL fined Falcons DC over Sanders prank calls too, and
Yep.
the DC and the Falcons themselves, $250,000 to the Falcons, and what was it, like 10,000 for the, or 100,000 for Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, and beating his son's ass. Because there ain't no dang way my son would get away with that. He went on his computer and stole the number off his computer. Sneaky bastard.
And not just his computer, it was the team iPad with the list of all the prospects' numbers.
Yeah. Sneaky bastard. Damn kids.
But other than that, there hasn't been a lot of shit going on. I mean, Kittle got paid yesterday. Alex Van Ginkel got paid by Minnesota. Other than that, it's been just the average run-of-the-mill off-season bullshit.
Elway was driving a golf cart and got into an accident. His ex-agent was injured and has had life-threatening injuries too.
All right, we got Moonscar Blade and
Moonscar.
Love that name. And of course, Ricky Seacott. Good to see you, brother. Got to get for the music. Yeah. You just got to get where you stop it down yet. you go like 5 beats too many.
Right, I'm just so anticipated when every time Ricky comes on here to do that. I'm like,
yeah, I know. And when Smoking Dad comes on, and when Paul Jones comes on, or Jim Jackson, those are the ones.
Then little Spanish flavor when Yoli comes on.
Pistons in 7. That's news. Yeah, yeah. So they tied it back up last night?
I ain't tied up. They just it's 3-2 now. They have to come back to Detroit and win.
Okay, so
And
they
then
got
go back to New York and win that game. They gotta win. They've been looking horrible in the last 2 games here. They need to boot up on that, but yes, sir.
Other than that, the Tigers are in first place.
Yeah, they've lost twice to Houston though. Pretty
Yeah, but
bad too.
they're still in first place, and they're still in
Well, they're
the
tied
top.
for second actually.
Oh, they're tied for second now. Who
Yeah,
went
because
ahead?
New
The
York.
Guardian.
No, the New York. No, New York.
No, I'm
They're
talking about
first in their division. They're tied for first in their conference. Yeah. Yeah. It's all right. Take this one tonight because they got Job pitching tonight. So let's hope we can beat Houston tonight and salvage 1 game out of 3.
We haven't had a problem winning in New York. It's winning at home.
Yeah.
They've been flat at home, and I don't get it. Losing close games, they normally are able to close out. It's like the defense is failing them at home, but it's doing well on the road. Can we just get it to where they just play on the road all the time?
I think the pressure, being a young team and the pressure playing at home and trying to win a game in front of your fans is something that they have to get used to too. Because Cade in his last couple of games, he's been prone to a lot of turnovers at home because he's trying to do too much, and he needs to stop that. He needs to let his teammates into the game too. But they'll be all right. They'll be all right. Paul Jones.
Paul Jones? No way. Casey Mize is on today. Game starts at 2:10. Might have to check that out.
No,
there he is. There he is. Oh,
Job is the one that starts today, Ricky. Job starts today.
Tigers come to Toronto in a couple weeks. That may help them with the way the Jays have been hitting. I know, and the way we've been pitching. It's not our pitching that's been the problem. So far, they've been winning more games than losing because they've been hitting better with men on base. Up and down the lineup, not just 1 or 2 players. It's been all across. The only guy that still sucks at hitting is Baez. And Cole Keith hasn't been doing all that way.
Yeah, Hardaway, he's just, I don't know. He'll get it together.
Yeah, Casey Mize
Joe gets to start. Yeah, Mize is tomorrow against the Angels of Los Angeles, not Anaheim anymore. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mize gets to go against the Angels. I'd rather him pitch against the Angels anyways. Get us back in our groove.
Yeah.
The exact problem the Jays have is hitting with men on. Which was the problem for the first half of the season for the Tigers last year. This year, they're I think they're in the top 5 for scoring right now per game, runs per game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he started off slow, and he does that. He'll go on a nice run, and then he falls off the planet because his plate discipline goes like a senile man's memory.
I mean, the season is full of ebbs and flows, and it's nice to see Baez finally doing what he's getting paid to do. Got to get a couple home runs in that, though. Yeah, you got it. Got to do that, Moonscar. Let's see. I know we got 4 pitchers that are 2.70 ERA and lower. Let's see.
All right. plus 32, and second place to the Yankees plus 35. Yep. What do you think of removing the Tiger script from the Comerica scoreboard? I don't like that idea. Does anyone see the catch by Jay's center fielder last night? If you didn't watch it now, I'll have to watch it after the show because I don't pay much to the Blue Jays. Not gonna lie.
The Tigers are 10th in the major leagues in scoring runs, 134 RBIs right now.
Dalton Varsaro, yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah, he's made plays in the minors. Played against the Loons, which was the LA affiliate. I heard about him making plays. Yeah, that was a hell of a catch by Varsho, Ricky. But other than that, I mean, there isn't a lot to talk about football-wise. We already went over our tops and bottoms of the draft and our sleepers that we think might be able to do something for our team at least. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on everybody else's team. I just looked at their drafts as a whole. Dude fell on his ass, caught the ball backwards without looking after fall. Oh, we see that play at least once a season where somebody does that. Yeah, those are hella plays, though. They're fun to watch. But it seems like somewhere, somebody, some nobody makes that play every year. They're like, oh my God, he's going to be the next. Just let him have a great play, people. For football, there is FTB, FTP, and FTC. And for baseball, there's fuck the New York Yankees. You know it.
Always, without a doubt. So there's a big thing going on, before the schedule release, who the Eagles should play to open the 2025 season, because most likely they're going to be the first game of the season. And a lot of people had the Lions going against them in the first game.
Yep, and we get the Hall of Fame game versus the Chargers. Pat Rothwell. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Pat.
So, all of the non-NFL playoff teams, which do you fellas believe can make the playoffs this year? I think the Pats have a good shot because I love what they did in the draft and free agency. Getting a better coach.
Non-playoff teams, huh?
Yep. I think Patriots on the AFC side has a chance to be one of those worst to playoff teams. Oh, Pat wants to know who we thought had the best and who I think had the worst. Yeah, overall, I think the Jags, while it was a functional draft, it was the worst draft because of the compensation they gave to move up to get Hunter. I understand the pick being there. I didn't understand how much they gave up to move up 3 spots because that usually doesn't happen at any point in the first round where you give up 2 firsts. I have that as my worst draft overall. The best draft, I'm going to name 4 teams right off the top of my head: Bucks, Panthers, Patriots, and Ravens. And what do you think, B? Are you right there with me on that?
I think one of the best teams, you can't count the Eagles. The Eagles got a steal both times, really.
Yeah,
they got the linebacker. They went backwards. Well, basically, yeah, they went backwards, and they still managed to get the linebacker, and then they got a good offensive tackle too. That's very underrated, and they got him at a pretty good round too. I think the Eagles did a good job.
We got Mrs. Leonard on here. Good to see you, Angela.
Well, hello there. You
I
said
don't
the
have.
Jets
I
and the
don't have.
Jets.
Yeah, in New England and the Jets for DeWitt.
Yeah.
A Jets had a solid draft, but it fell out of my top 5. I think my top 5 drafts, and I don't have the Lions, I don't have the Packers, I don't have the Bears, I don't have the Vikings there. I think all of the middling teams that were playoff teams last year had about a B to C plus draft. However you want to rank it, they all were the same. And Ricky says, I like the way the Giants and the Browns drafted. Just my 2 cents. They had solid drafts too. Like, there's a lot of those B drafts and C plus drafts, all in that range, where they're all like, wow, they didn't get any great players, but they didn't get any bad players, is what I'm talking about. The only way, like I said this earlier on another show, if Mike Green gets arrested on either of those sexual charges he's being accused of, that will ruin the grade of the Ravens draft because they took him in the second round when no one else wanted him. I loved the draft. I loved what we did. Brett, and I just got this feeling Steve Smith's coming back. And I know you say no, but I think he is. Broski trying to ignore me this morning was so funny. No, my cousin gone, LOL. Well, considering his nephew Jackson Meeks is now a Lion with the highest guaranteed salary of all the UDF, look at his talent and you compare it to everybody across the board, it wasn't that much better than everybody there. There's something there on why they did that. Because usually your top one makes the team.
Oh, there's your dad. Hey.
Hey, smoking dad.
And
yes.
Pat say, oh, go ahead.
Yes, he has 2 allegations against him, sexual charges. That's why the Lions avoided him.
Wow, Ricky, that's news to you, buddy. That's a big thing. Right, Green.
Yeah, that's why Isaiah Bond's not even a UDFA. But he turned himself in and was out for the draft on a $25,000 bond out of his NIL money.
Bond posted bond. Now, do you think that the question to the answer to your question, Pat, for me is that they're better now because everybody from injury is coming off injury. I think that's a big thing people miss. And you got to remember, a lot of defensive players were injured last year, and that contributed to a lot of problems that we had. So now that everybody's coming back, Broski Bear, what's going on, buddy?
Hey! How you doing today?
Did you agree with my take where a lot of the teams fell in between that B and C plus range because they neither did anything to really make their team better, but they didn't do anything to make their team worse in the draft? That was what a majority of the draft drafted by teams were.
I can agree with that.
I'm not sure if someone's trying to differentiate between charges and allegations because officially there were no charges against Mike Green. No, there were allegations.
Right. There's been allegations, no charges filed yet. So they're still investigating it because they were new. They came up 2 weeks before the draft, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Like that usually happens.
Yeah. So who knows where that goes?
But that's exactly why they went Tyleek, because he was the last of the good edges that we wanted in the first round. Everybody else had a second round or a late first round grade. We were trying to get one of those guys that had the early grade. And I think when Atlanta traded up with Minnesota and grabbed James Pierce, that's what took us out of the edge room, because he was the last one with none of those problems other than attitude.
What a waste going to Atlanta, too. Atlanta's a bunch of crap.
Healthy defense should be fine. And Ricky's got this Broski Bear and gives you the 3 strong arm muscles there.
Shout out Ricky.
And that's a solid Michigan/Detroit Lions fan doing that for you.
Yeah. I know it's rare.
Yeah, man. But this is definitely that time of the year where it's just dull. There's not much going on.
That's why talking about something like Isaiah Bond and the fact that Atlanta got fined for the defensive coordinator's son stealing the number off the team iPad.
Isaiah, I need to post Bond.
Yeah.
There you go.
And everybody was like, man, why does Bond keep falling? I was like, there's a reason why he never went above a fourth-round pick, because he was one of the better receivers in this draft. He never moved up or down after the combine.
Yeah, Pat Rothwell brings up a good point. I know JB, me and you touched on this yesterday as well. We're actually both in agreement on this. We think that Glasgow could be the odd man out on the interior O-line.
Right, because like we said, Glasgow's play fell backwards, but I think that was more because he was outside of his normal position in left guard. But Christian Mahogany in the 3 games he played better than Glasgow did at a position he never played in college. So, and I know you don't agree with me, but I think Mahogany will be one of the starters, and I think one of the other ones could beat out Glasgow.
Mm-hmm. That's a stretch, and they like the players that they have on the line right now. That's the only reason why I can't see that. I can see Simo. Simo is probably going to be fighting with both the other guards, the rookie guards, for that position. That's going to be an open competition there.
So Mahogany was like a 6th-round pick, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he that was a bargain pick because people didn't pick it because of his leg difference.
Right.
He was originally was longer than the other. The dumbest way to fall.
Until he was measured out at his pro day, he was supposed to be a 2nd-round pick. Mm-hmm. He got measured out at his pro day, and they found out his right leg was almost 1.5 inches shorter than his left leg. Mm-hmm. And they said, "Oh, he can only play right guard then because he leans towards the tackle."
Dumb.
Yeah, I mean,
good for us.
Yeah, I think that Frazier guy is a real wild card. I mean, there's a chance he could start even over Ratledge. Like he could. I mean, I think both those guys, man. Those are 2 great picks, man.
Well, Ratledge.
I like the Tyleek Williams pick too, man. I had him.
Oh yeah, I know. I've talked about it, and I think even B started to come around after he thought about it for a little bit. At first, he didn't like it.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm still bewildered that the Lions and the Bears didn't draft defensive end. Both teams.
Well, we did draft a defensive end later.
I'm sorry. You drafted the guy from Boise State.
Yep, the Egyptian.
Yeah, the Egyptian. Yeah.
Ahmad Hassanin.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if that really counts, but
23. 23.
Why
sacks.
not?
Okay, 22. Yeah, 23 sacks. He had 13 one year, 10 the year before, and
he's a big old Mountain West bully, isn't he?
Right, but at the same time, those are all offensive teams in the Mountain West. All of them have decent offensive lines. So to get the guy that had the most sacks in that division.
Let me rephrase. I'm surprised the Lions and Bears didn't draft. Well, Bears didn't draft at all, but didn't draft one early, like in the first 2 or 3 rounds. Let's say that.
Right. Well, like I said, with Mike Green and the sexual allegations came up, that means that the Lions were avoiding him like the plague. And all the other ones, when Atlanta traded up and took the last one that actually had a true 1st round on him, in James Pierce Jr.
Yeah.
They said, screw it. Let's get somebody to play for Aleem because Brandon Roy's not it.
Yeah, I think both teams are definitely like Brad Holmes and Ryan Poles. They have their players that they fall in love with, and they do target certain players to a certain extent. I do believe that. So if their guys are off the board, then they're not going to go that route. They're not going to force their hand unnecessarily,
So what they did was they went with the safe pick, and the guy that was the 28th prospect overall, right where he is supposed to go.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I think he's going to start. I think he's,
well, because of what we got on the roster, 100% he's a starter.
Yeah.
And I think the odd man out is either going to be Pascal or it's going to be Broderick Martin.
I take more on Broderick Martin than I do Pascal, but Pascal's on the edge too.
Yep.
Yep. But the thing with Pascal is he's in his 4th year.
Yeah. And from a defensive end perspective, the Bears did sign that guy, Deo. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name right now. And then, I mean, the Lions do have Davenport. They signed, and Pascal's under contract still. So technically they do have their starters, but would have been nice to see, at least from the Bears' perspective, I think.
And I love what he told Coach Campbell when I watched the video of him being called. He goes, "I will do anything you ask for. I will die on the field for you." That Egyptian kid.
Who said that?
The Egyptian kid that we drafted, the defensive end for Boise State.
I mean, I'm not even gonna. There's a couple ways I can go with that one right now, JB, and I'm not sure your podcast is the correct.
Mine is adult only, so it's safe to say if you're thinking Shakespearean ways, I don't want to see him dying on the field.
No, I wasn't. I'm gonna just not even go the route I was going to go.
If Davenport stays healthy, he could be an X Victor, but Davenport will be hurt before the end of preseason.
You know, Ricky, I love your optimism, but it ain't gonna happen.
And Paul Jones agrees, Davenport. And that 100% is a Sarah the Viking name.
Yeah, I was gonna say shout out Sarah for that one. That one is popular now.
Yeah, Davenport.
And because of me being at the draft and actually writing it in my article.
Oh, you did?
LGBTQB1.
I don't know if that's Caleb approved, man. There's no glitter in the nail polish, dude. You got to have like the pink glitter.
I know, but they put it around the C for the coach bag.
You'll have to work that out with Case Keenum. Supposedly he's Caleb's fluffer now or something.
The guy that I missed that isn't here right now is Little Thumbs Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Bryce Young? Who's that?
That is my co-host, Dan Leonard.
Okay. I thought it was Kyler Murray. My bad.
No, Kyler Murray's an inch
close though.
Did you
doesn't have the right uniform on, but he's close. Yeah.
Kyler Murray's at least an inch shorter than that.
The Keebler elf. He's the Keebler elf.
Yeah, there's some Keebler elves for sure.
Yeah, there's Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, and a couple others that came out this draft.
Brett.
Yeah, people asked me earlier if I thought the Panthers have a chance to win that division this year. I'm like, no.
That's
no
a good one.
Not the most stellar division in the world, but no, they don't.
I'm going to name the three toughest divisions right now in football. Two of them are in the AFC. That's AFC North and AFC West, and the NFC North. I don't see anybody else as strong as them unless the Cowboys can come back to form this year. Then the NFC East gets.
Yeah, top to bottom, I agree with that. The only thing holding back the AFC North is the Brownies, the Brown Streaks.
Yep. Well, with the way they drafted on defense, I think they're going to have a good defense this year.
Dude, they should have a good defense. They really should. They should have a nasty defense. I mean, God forbid they wise up and actually start Flacco. Like, man, they'll have a decent team. They could have a decent team.
Paul Jones comes in and says Kyler Murray looks like he stole his uncle's helmet and pads.
You should see Bryce Young, man. I've seen him in person a couple times. Like, dude, he just looks like a regular high school kid.
Well, yeah,
wearing skinny jeans with an afro. He's got with that baby fro, afro curly thing that the high school kids do. Wearing a white hoodie, skinny jeans. I'm like, dude, he just looks like a high school kid walking around town.
He does. The best part was when they went to introduce him at the draft press, the draft introductory last year, and they had to bring out a step stool for him to be able to talk into the microphone.
Seriously?
Yeah, they literally had to bring one of those 10 inch to 12 inch step stools.
The first time I ever heard of a player getting drafted because he had a nice smile. That's what Tepper said. I'm like,
an idiot anyway.
That's questionable at best. Yeah. Yep, but that's the Carolina Panthers for you. Who actually had a nice job.
And that's a great take. Slammin' Sammy Joe says that the Browns offense can be better than the Bengals defense, then things could be interesting in the AFC North. Absolutely.
Yeah. Bengals defense just they don't have much. They have Hendrickson and then that's it, right?
Right. And I understand what they did this draft. They attacked the offensive trench a lot throughout it. I think they did 3 picks on the O-line. They had to.
Let's take a
look. They got to protect Burrow. They got to protect the franchise because if they don't protect the franchise, they're going to be hit.
And somebody wrote an interesting article. Does Joe Burrow have to leave the Bengals to be an actual Super Bowl contender? And I was like, man, and the article, the way it read, was actually really well done.
Okay, so they did go defense their first 2 picks, but very questionable players they drafted.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, dude, they didn't give up
Shamar Stewart was a bad pick in my opinion because the dude
terrible.
can't tackle in the first place, and
Can't
Yeah.
tackle in low production.
He's not a
they better.
football player.
All I gotta say is they better sign Hendrickson because that's the only way that defense is going to be worthy of anything.
I don't think they can afford to unless Joe Burrow restructures.
Well,
And
they
here
need to
she
do
is,
something.
the one, the only, Sarah the Vi Queen.
Well, she's
What
got
up, Jess?
Hey,
What up,
she ain't got the mean child on her profile there.
No, she's got to say, what, girl?
Yeah, I do have to say what because I just got done watching a video that Caleb Williams is going to be MVP candidate for 2025. I'm like,
He's gonna be what?
MVP candidate.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of Bears fans are gonna be saying that, and
And
yeah,
so I'm like, say what?
yeah, just like 2 years ago, Boston Field Goal was an MVP candidate, right? Like in the offseason. So
Yeah.
And that's absolutely right, Slam and Sammy Joe. The Bengals' best pick was their 6th-round running back. I
Yeah.
agree.
the Bengals draft was absolute trash. Like I like they got the other good guard from Georgia. I mean, other than that, it's like who'd you really draft? Like
Yeah, but that's what happens when you have 3 people running your scout department.
It's what happens when you got Bob Quinn as a part of your scouting department.
yeah, I'm not in fear of the AFC North like some people are pumping
No,
it up.
but like they got 3 of their 4 teams that are considered a powerhouse. You know, it's Bengals offensively, top to bottom. Pittsburgh and Baltimore are good teams.
Well, those three after the Ravens, though, it kind of downgrades a lot after that. Pittsburgh is barely holding on. They don't even know what quarterback they have yet. Cincinnati has no defense. Cleveland is Cleveland. So
Did you guys ever see that? Yeah, no, Bistro, I hear you and I agree with you. Like I'm not even like the NFC East. I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, the Eagles and the Commanders, but I'm like, am I really worried about the Giants or the Cowboys? Not really. You know what I mean? So, dude, I was gonna ask if anyone here has seen that. You know how Gruden does like those QB camp like episodes with like the rookie quarterbacks. Did you ever see the one with him and Will Howard?
Yeah, it was.
I really like that one. Will Howard just seems like he. I'm not saying he's going to be Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. Don't get me. I'm not going there. But I'm just saying like he gives me the persona that he could be like that 5th-round quarterback who's going to be their franchise quarterback for years. Honestly, he seems with it, man. Like I don't know.
Think if they give him a couple of years to develop, he could be their next Ben. You know.
Yeah, I think they're going to throw him into the fire because I think Mason Rudolph is that bad anymore.
Only problem is they're not known for developing quarterbacks, so they need to find somebody who can come in and help develop Will Howard.
Yeah, I mean, this could really make or break Tomlin in theory. I mean, who knows? Tomlin could still be the coach after we're dead for all we know. But
right. Basically, that's how it's going to work.
With our
Do you guys
Rooney,
think they're going to have a winning season? I mean, they're going to have their first losing season this season?
I doubt it. They did enough on defense to keep their defense to help them win games. Their offense doesn't have to be prolific the way that defense is.
Well, JB, what did you think of that episode? You said you saw it.
Every single one of those episodes with Gruden are great. I love it because if somebody rubs him the wrong way, he lets you know. You know, it's just, he goes, there's just something off about him. You know, he does that look when he doesn't like somebody. But
Did he do one on Shador?
Did he do what, Sarah? I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, do you guys know if he did one on Shador?
I doubt it.
You know, I didn't see one. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see one.
I don't think he did one on Shador. I think they had to do all with Dion not letting them do that.
I don't think Josh can beat the Ravens this year. Ravens and Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Did Caleb do one? I believe he might have.
Oh, good one. At that point, I was so out on Caleb, I couldn't watch anything on Caleb. Let's see.
Will Howard, according to MSN, Will Howard is the 4th highest draft steal.
Yeah, I mean, I had him and Tyler Shuck from Louisville. They were like my top 2 ranked quarterbacks going into this draft. I'm like, both of these guys can be legit NFL starters. And they're the.
Did you have Will Howard going to the Steelers?
Yeah, I was saying that for like a month before the draft, and I was saying it during the draft. I thought he was going to go in the 3rd round, though. I'm not going to lie. I thought they were going to take him in the 3rd. The fact that they got him in the 5th was amazing for them.
And Broski Bear, they got Luther Burden the 3rd as the 5th highest underrated pick.
I mean, he's going to start at slot receiver right away. I mean, I didn't know he led NCAA football in broken tackles. Like I knew about the yards after the catch he led college football in. I didn't realize the broken tackles also. That's pretty amazing stat. And then, I mean, your first team, SEC first team 2 years in a row, I mean, you definitely have some talent. So we'll see if he works out.
Right.
My dog is such an Asian dog. She's eating rice.
There you go.
Oh, that's so funny. Wait, did you?
Dang, Broski, I've heard some takes in my day, but that may take the cake.
I'm not sure which one he's referring to. Hey, Mitch, feel free to
Chuck.
call in, man. The lines are open, bud. Call in.
Benedict Arnold Johnson himself said Loveland reminds him of a Travis Kelce. And he probably does.
You know what games I think are going to be fire, hopefully, this year? Packers and Bears. Because you know how at Ben Johnson's press conference, he took a shot at Matt LaFleur. And then there was a interview the other day. Matt LaFleur was interviewing with Bussin' with the Boys. And they were asking him, so you got beef with Ben Johnson? And he's like, no, I don't have beef with Ben Johnson. I mean, I forgot what he said, but like, he didn't really appreciate Ben Johnson.
Yeah. I saw both, and I'm like, that's part of the hard part about being a Bears fan is just stupid shit like that. Like that was so weird. It's for Ben Johnson to say. It's just like, dude, what the hell was that? And honestly, LaFleur handled it well. He's like, dude, whatever. I don't care. Like, he's obviously on that podcast when they're trying to kick up some controversy. He's like, he's like, it means nothing to me. I don't know what you're talking about, but I mean, I would have handled it the same way. Like, well, I'm not going to just get fired up because you don't want me to, you know?
I like that take there too, Brent DeWitt. Jarquez Hunter going to the Rams. He was one of those sleeper guys. The other one was the cornerback out of UCF and the running back out of UCF. Both of those guys, they showed some stuff on film. If you go back and actually watch whole games, not just watch their highlight reels.
Like, I think the games with the Bears and the Vikings will be in because we don't have any beef with them. But with the Packers and with the Lions, because you guys both have beef with Ben Johnson, it's going to be electric.
Yeah, it's going to add a little something to those games, that's for sure.
Yeah, but Ben Johnson has a beef with the Vikings, so don't worry about it, Sarah. It'll be bad enough.
You know what? I don't see that Caleb Williams did a Gruden's QB class episode.
Yeah,
right.
I'm pretty. I don't think he did either.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I would have found it by now. I've been searching for
So
it.
Gruden stays away from certain players too, so he doesn't have to make a judgment either way.
So Benchwarmer Brand made the joke of Ben Johnson going to the Bears to make Caleb a better QB than Jaden caused Jaden knock the Lions out of the playoffs. Yeah, that was funny. I like Benchwarmer Brand. His stuff is pretty good. I just wish he did better at changing his voice when he switches characters.
Tom Grassi's video was pretty funny. If the NFL was scripted.
Oh,
He
yeah,
had-
those are
He
good.
had the Atlanta Falcons prank calling everybody. The Saints are going to draft a kicker.
But yeah, I know, Sarah, we were talking about the Vikings draft a little bit. I was trying to give you my 2 cents on that. Yeah, I thought Felton, the wide receiver, was a good pick. I think Kobe King was a good pick. And yeah, man, Donovan Jackson was a nice pick. So I think they did well for the limited amount of picks they had, for sure.
Most draft analysts gave us a D.
Ricky Sicott, what you didn't know is Ben Johnson was our video game analyst in 2018 and 19 and 2020. He became the tight ends coach, and we kept him.
And also he was a coaching quarterbacks, tight ends, and wide receivers with the Miami Dolphins in 2012.
Back when Dan Campbell was the interim coach.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
I thought it was stupid because they gave us a D because we didn't have that many picks. It's like, I mean, okay, so we didn't have that many picks. So what? I mean, we did what we could with the picks we had, and I thought we filled out.
You guys didn't need all them damn picks. You guys pretty much got a nice depth on your roster. Vikings did a hell of a job over in the offseason. I think the Vikings and the Bears did like the best to help their teams out in the offseason in that division.
Like, I really liked the guard that we took. It was funny. They interviewed him, and because you know how he's going to be blocking for JJ McCarthy now, and so they're asking him, so what do you remember about JJ McCarthy in college? He's like, I remember never beating him. I thought that was funny.
Oh, let's see. I saw the thing about Tate Rutledge, and believe it or not, in his 3-year starters, he only gave up 1 sack and only had 4 penalties and only gave up 10 pressures the entire time at Georgia.
Who, Rutledge?
Yeah, Rutledge.
I thought he was a good pickup.
I do too. I think he was one of the best guards in the draft. I mean, I'm not trying to say he was the best. He's one of. If the Bears don't perform well, it's not looking good for Caleb.
Well, it's definitely on Caleb this year because he's got everything around him. Ben Johnson made sure that he had enough offensive linemen around him to protect him. So if he doesn't do good this year, it's on him for real because he's got it made now.
I mean, I don't go there because it's like he's going to be the quarterback for probably 4 years. Like he's going to get his 4 years to prove it. First year with a new head coach. Like I'd like to see improvement in Caleb in a bunch of areas, but I'm not going to say like year 2 new coaching staff is the be all end all if he doesn't do it his second year. Like it usually takes quarterbacks a few years to reach their peak.
Yeah, but Broski didn't give Justin Fields a chance, and you had nothing around him. So I mean, if they got all this around Caleb, and they feel he needs to improve.
Justin Fields had 3 years, right? Caleb
Yeah,
hasn't even had 2 yet. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, let's give Caleb 3 years like we gave Justin. How about that? So like year 2.
I'm just saying that the Bears.
No. What I'm saying is this: year 2, you can't say is the be all end all for Caleb, or else it's just he has to prove it or blah blah blah. Because again, they gave Fields 3 years, they gave Trubisky 3 years, so Caleb will at least get 3 years.
The way they gave Fields, though, they didn't give him offensive weapons. They didn't give him an offensive line. Do you think Fields is a good quarterback? No.
Well, I mean, that's what are we really talking about?
I think he's a better quarterback than people give him credit for.
Yeah, I sure don't. And his problem is he doesn't learn from his mistakes.
I guess we'll find out because the Jets are building for him what the Bears never did.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you want some good comic relief, watch Justin Fields play quarterback this year.
Well, I'm just saying, this year he has an O-line, he has weapons, so
really, in theory, it's not really put up or shut up for Caleb going into year 2. It's more like put up or shut up for Boston going into year 5. That's what I would say. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say year 2 for a quarterback. It's like do or die. Like, dude, he's going to be here for a couple of years. You know what I mean?
You have to admit, Caleb and JJ, they are in perfect. They have been set up to succeed, and if they don't succeed, there's going to be a lot of questions.
Well, yeah, I mean, and Bears fans are like, this is the special aspect about Bears fans too. They'll say that every offseason. They'll be like, oh yeah, it's win now mode. We're winning 13 games. Blah blah blah. It's like, you know what this really is? Right the ship, take a step in the right direction kind of year mode. Like How about you guys win 8 or 9 games first? Like, because that would be a step in the right direction to me.
Because honestly, there aren't many young quarterbacks that are set up in situations like Caleb and JJ. So they need to show something too.
Yeah,
I think the thing about Broski, I think the thing about it is that I don't, like I said, they didn't really do anything to build around Justin. Whereas here for Caleb, because he's a number 1 pick, and there was so much expectations for Caleb, they built around him. They got a new coach. They made sure he was okay on the offensive line. So I mean, and Ben Johnson's pretty good with the quarterbacks. So I mean, if he doesn't, and he did play well last year. He played well last year, even though he's on his back 75 times. But he did play well last year. And I mean, he didn't play extraordinary, but it's kind of hard to do that when you're running for your life. So I mean, like I said, it depends how the offensive line, manufactures themselves. They do well with Caleb, then Caleb will be better.
I mean, honestly, I'd make the argument that Fields had a better O-line than Caleb did.
Yeah, hell
no. Fields makes the O-line.
But the Fields made that offensive line look better because he was running for his damn life and he was athletic enough to do that. That line was ass. It was. Your defense was the one that was playing the best.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even going to rehash it because to me, they're just meaningless excuses. I just care about the end product on the field. And guess what? Justin Fields has never thrown for 2,600 yards in a season. Guess what? Right. Justin Fields gets hurt every freaking year because he plays like a freaking knucklehead. And he doesn't learn from his mistakes. Like I'm not going to make excuses for a busting field goal. He did it. He had a lot stacked against him. Yes. Was he in the best situation? Absolutely not. He didn't improve. He didn't control what he could control and improve in that. I guess that's my point.
But it's the same thing we see with rookie quarterbacks every time Chicago drafts one. And I'm not trying to be.
Oh, dude, it's a true story. You could say that to me. I'm not going to be one of those Bears fans.
You draft a new quarterback. You draft a new quarterback in a dead duck year. You fire your coach halfway through the season, then hire a new coach the next year, and everybody says, "Oh my God, we got the next great coach. We're going to be the best team in the damn division."
Well, and that's why I say it's a dysfunctional organization until proven otherwise. I mean, that's like one of my quotes, man. And me and Rob the Packer backer, we talk about that all the time. Yeah, it's like, you wanna say you're good, go out and show me some wins, guys.
As much as we want to pick on the Bears, the one thing I won't pick on, and I won't call Caleb Williams a bust. He's their first rookie quarterback to throw for over 3,000 yards in their team history.
Yeah. I mean, he still
didn't break the record, though.
You know what's important? Like, he actually started every game, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though he wears Lee press-ons, he didn't make excuses after the game. He didn't make excuses after the game and cry and blame other people.
He did cry, just not in public.
Okay. Well, let's say this. He didn't cry on the microphone. Let's say that. Like, did he cry in his mommy's arms after the game? Probably. You know what I mean? According to him, he definitely. But yeah,
at least he cried in bed with the fluffy pillow.
He did what with a fluffy pillow?
He cried into the fluff.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, like, I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. Keep going.
I mean, all arrows should be pointing up for Caleb this year. That's just the bottom line. Yeah. I think that this year he'll break the record. Finally, a Chicago quarterback is going to break the record for most passing yards.
I think he's in a good situation this year. Now he's going to have to learn to play under center. He's going to have to learn like a new offense. But honestly, he's in a pretty good situation, I feel. So
I'm like kind of shocked to find out that like a lot of quarterbacks that come from college don't play under center. That was kind of news to me.
You know what's crazy? It goes down to like high school level now. Like, there's a lot of teams in the area I live, like they don't even play under center that much anymore.
And my dad brings up a point. Some of these great quarterbacks, when they get drafted to a bad team, they never have a chance to show how good they really are. So nobody knows how good Archie could have been if he hadn't played for the Aints, and that's a great point.
Well, and I think that comes back to like if you look at Sam Darnold, this is the first time he's been like a starter on a team that actually has like infrastructure, and he showed that he could play well. I mean, did he do bad the last two games? Sure he did, but those last two games shouldn't diminish what he accomplished for the whole season, and it showed that with infrastructure he can be a pretty good quarterback that's not going to tank your team. It's just unfortunate that most of these quarterbacks that get drafted are going to shit teams who don't have any infrastructure, and then it's like,
well, that's the reason why they're picking them
on the hot seat.
Yeah,
that's why they're picking high in the draft.
Right.
So Sarah, let me ask you this: what do you like? Put some numbers out there for JJ. Like, what are you projecting his like first year stats to be like?
I wouldn't be surprised if he had about like 3,500 yards, 22, 23 touchdowns, and maybe like 9-10 interceptions.
At least that's semi-realistic. I'm going to be honest. That's a semi-realistic expectation.
Pretty similar to what Caleb did his year last year. Honestly, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, but I think he will still be able to. He's not going to give us. I don't think he's going to give us a 5-12 season. I think he's going to be able to keep us like competitive for a playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely have a solid foundation, offense and defense, and most importantly, coaching around him for sure.
I think the thing that's going to make J.J. McCarthy better, Sam's going to come in there and give him some competition. I like that trade that Minnesota made.
I'll tell you what, that's a good point.
Yeah, he's great. I think he's just underrated. I think he played when he played with the Commanders. If they didn't have such a bad offensive line, that dude was firing the ball. He was like midway through the season, he had the most yards of all the quarterbacks.
He's a gunslinger, bro. And the thing is, like, I can't rule. He's still young enough. I'm like, I can't rule out that he ever develops into like a true starter for a team at some point. So he's going to be hungry, like trying to prove it, trying to win the job legit.
Well, and I think that he saw what Kelsey did for Sam Darnold. And I think he's excited to be here because even if he's not the starting quarterback, he's going to be able to get a lot of coaching that he never got from his other teams.
Yeah, he's gonna flourish under KOC's system. I just think that it's going to be I think that's what's going to make JJ better. I think Sam is going to that's going to be a heated competition. I'm telling you right now. That's going to be a heated competition. That was a great trade.
And I'd rather have Sam Howell than Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry, but I would just.
Yeah, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has what it needs to be a great quarterback anymore. But did the Vikings come out and say like JJ is the starter? Or
yeah, they've been saying it.
Okay. I mean, they didn't say it, but they pretty much said
assuming it. Yeah, they're assuming it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Because like throughout the whole year and all that, it's like they never had like JJ like videos or anything. And now that the season's over and he's like it's like they're putting out a lot more JJ videos and all that. So that signals to me that that's going to be our starting quarterback.
Motown Mitch, that's not really fair, Sam Howell, because he was playing behind Geno Smith in Seattle, and that was already an established starter. And they got rid of him in Washington because that's how they got they knew they were going to get a number one pick. That's when Jaden Daniels came in. So, Jaden Daniels, we can say, at least for his first year, is a hell of a pickup on the first round draft pick. And I just think Sam Howell's not getting a fair shake. That's all.
Yeah, because if you look at what he did through the first 8 games before that offensive line got hurt in Washington last year, he was doing great. And then once that offensive line started having all the injuries, He became the most sacked quarterback in the league that year.
And he was still putting up numbers, though. That was the thing.
As one of my flex quarterbacks on fantasy for a while there.
I mean, he is a gunslinger. I'll give you that mentality because in 2000, when he was playing with the Commanders, he had 21 touchdowns and 21 interceptions. So, I mean, but he threw for 3,946 yards. I mean, the dude he almost threw for 4,000.
He's like Jameis Winston.
I think he's better than Jameis. Like I said, Jameis Winston, he don't care. That's the reason why he's a 30 for 30 guy.
Do you guys think that Darch will start by mid-season? Or do you think they're going to redshirt him the whole year?
I think that's how stubborn they're going to be.
You're talking about two different things. You're talking about in a season where he had an all off season to work with the team and be comfortable with them. And then coming into a season with an O-line that was already banged up and not really practicing more than 3 days with the first team. There's a big difference there, Motown Mitch.
Mm-hmm. They really weren't at that time. They weren't.
But they were winning more games than they lost through the first half of the season because of the way Sam Howell played, and the defense was not injured as much and able to play at a level that kept them in games.
Yeah, and Scary Terry had really good numbers that year because that's who he was going to.
So yeah, because they didn't have anybody else that was a go.
And no, they did not. They really didn't have a run game either.
Do we think Cam Ward is first day starter?
It really depends on what they do with Will Levis. Because the coach there did say Will Levis might be the starter. He wouldn't come right out and say it. So I think it's going to be a healthy competition. But I think
you pick that guy number one. He better start day one because you just gave up on Will Levis. There's no reason why you. That's why I said this is a stupid pick by the Titans. If that's the case, just let Levis go. Trade him, cut him, whatever you got to do. Just get rid of him. You should have done that before you traded for. I mean, you drafted Cam Ward. That's the stupidest pick ever to me.
Wasn't Will Levis like the second pick of the second round?
He was the first pick of the second.
First pick of the second. Okay.
Yeah, they traded up to get him.
And Kevin Cummings says, "What's up, motherfuckers?"
What up, Kevin? That's Monkey.
Well, so who starts for the Browns, you guys? What quarterback?
Right now, until we hear otherwise, it's Joe Flacid.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's Joe Flacid. He's retired once already. He has to take his Viagra just to go to practice.
That's all right. He's an effective quarterback. That's all they need right now.
I know.
He said, "I beat myself."
How about the Saints? Is Shuck starting?
Shuck might have to. He might have.
Sounds like he is because I don't think Carr's going to be healthy in time.
And Spencer Rattler is straight trash.
Yeah, he's.
I don't know. Well, you may think he's garbage, but New Orleans still got faith in him. He might start.
Bye, guys. Time's up.
Yep, time is up. It is time to do my sponsors. In last place last year, it was Fuck the Bears. In third place, FTP. And in second place, it was Skull. It's like saying score, but with a cock in your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Choke on that.
Yep, Choke, Rattler, QB battle. I agree it'll be a QB battle. I don't, because both of them were like mid-round picks. Oh, I didn't say he was great. I said he was good. There's a big difference. Don't put words in my mouth.
Right. Yeah, he's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback.
And we are out. Try every day to be a better person. You read Dave Ford. The only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Peace, love, and chick grease.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.